Hello, everyone. We're coming to you live. Welcome to Flutespresso. I'm Heather Neuenschwander with Flute Specialists, and I'm here today with special guest George Pope.
Hi, everyone.
If you're new to Flutespresso, or perhaps you're a long-time watcher, this is just a nice casual coffee chat with famous flutists like George. So grab your cup of coffee here, or perhaps tea, and join us as we talk about all things life and flute. And this is not just a chat between George and I. You're all welcome to join us. So comment below, tell us where you're watching from and what you're drinking. And we're going to choose one person from the comments below to receive a signed mug, just like this one, but signed by George Pope. So comment below, tell us where you are, what you're drinking. If you have any questions today, things on your mind, we will see them come through. Now, here we are. George Pope, I'm going to give just a little bit of an introduction, and then you can fix me on anything that you don't like of what I said. How's that?
As long as it's nice, I'm okay.
Of course. I don't think there's anything not nice to say, so that's not a problem. So George Pope is an altist artist. You currently teach at Baldwin Wallace Conservatory and Professor Emeritus at the University of Akron. Also former principal and solo flute for the Akron Symphony Orchestra. A couple of years ago, in 2018, received the NFA Distinguished Service Award, and a founding member of the Chamber Music Society of Ohio and the Solaris Quintet. George Pope. Tell us first, the most burning question, what are you drinking today?
Oh, well, I'm having orange herbal tea in my beautiful Flute Specialist cup, which has an orange inside. It's gorgeous. So I had to have orange tea in it. So cheers.
Cheers. This is my favorite part, when we get to cheers and drink our coffee and tea. So is the orange tea really just because of the orange interior, or is that something you normally would have?
No, I drink it all the time, but it worked perfectly in orange and the orange interior of this beautiful cup. So,
well, we picked it just for you.
Ah.
So tell us now, it's been over a year in this pandemic life that we live in. What have you been up to?
Well, I continued my teaching at Baldwin Wallace online, like so many of us did, and had to deal with degree recitals being performed virtually and all these kinds of things, which was challenging for one. But it worked well. My students were diligent, made lots of progress, played beautifully. I got into graduate school, and for myself, since all the performing was canceled, I found myself just practicing fundamentals again. It was actually really refreshing to just be able to take all the time in my warming up, that when you're preparing music all the time, you don't always have the time to focus in on fundamentals. And I've really enjoyed doing that a lot, and kind of recentering myself in my playing. And that's been the best thing for me. I mean, we've done some recordings of different pieces and things for the NFA convention last year, also for an adult flute camp at Interlaken that I was a guest for, and we did some recording for that. And but mostly that, and baking and experimenting in my kitchen. So
well, now I have two burning questions for you, and thank you for the Michigan shout out. to Interlaken. Many of you know Flute Specialist is based in Michigan. You may not know I'm joining you from Iowa, but originally from Michigan.
Right.
I had two burning questions. I'm going to start with the baking question because that's more fun. What do you bake?
Well, happily and also sadly, I got back into baking cakes and breads and things like that again, which I had not done for a very long time. And that went on for probably about 6 months until I decided that my waistline was paying.
I wondered if that was the sadly.
That was the sadly part, yeah. So I've cut way back on that. But one particular thing that turned out to be a real favorite that I would share with my neighbors is a lemon blueberry swirl cake, which has a lemon thyme glaze that goes over the top of it. It's so good. And I had to stop myself from making it so often.
Well, I'll be looking for that in the mail in the next week. So
I'll freeze it, get it in the mail to you.
See how I did that. So going back to the flute side of it, which is also fun. I said that the baking was more fun, but let's be honest, we're here because we love the flute. So what fundamentals, do you have any fundamentals that you want to share with us? Things you really, is it the standard Taffanel Gabert book, your Makar? What were you working on?
I have a sort of a set routine that I start with long tones based out of De La Sonorité, and I will do scale patterns, and I'll do 24 melodious studies of Moïse, but I've started working out of a couple of other books. The Philippe Bernot book about embouchure and tone, and the name just, hold on one second, it's right on my stand. And the Werner Richter condition training, and their patterns, they're based on intervals, they're based on and then melody, and melodies. Did we freeze?
Keep going. I'm with you now.
There are melodies and all kinds of things which you transpose and play through. Lots of flexibility exercises, and those have become a real great staple for my daily work. And I keep adding to it a little bit at a time. I have etudes that I go through, and I'm reading through all my collection of etudes, and and spending time with all of that, and then reading through a lot of solo repertoire, things that I haven't played, just to refamiliarize myself with them and enjoy them. So, yeah.
I find that I have a few like guilty pleasure pieces. That piece that you play that you never perform that you just like to play for yourself. Do you have one of those?
No, because if I'm working on it, I'm planning to play it. I'm gonna put it in a concert as soon as I can get back to playing live concerts again. Although I did just record a full recital, which my pianist and I recorded live for the Texas Flute Society, which that festival starts tonight. My recital is going to be broadcast tomorrow, part of that, and then I'm doing a class for them on Saturday morning. And for that concert, we went back to things that we had played before, and that would just make an interesting and fun program. So, and that we wouldn't have to have too many rehearsals for. Just enough rehearsals so that we felt really comfortable. And so that was fun and exciting. Playing live is because we haven't been doing it all year. It's a different feeling. I mean, all of those anxieties from when we were younger keep coming back, when we haven't been performing that much. But we had a great time, and I'm really proud of the way it turned out. So.
Now, you haven't mentioned any specific literature from this. Is that on purpose? Is it a secret, or do you want to tell us any of the things in the recital?
No, it's not a secret. My friend John Cohen wrote a new piece for me called Springtide Evocation. And
his titles are always just as great as the pieces. I'm a fan.
Exaltation, that's what it was, Exaltation. And so I thought I would open the concert with a movement from the Beethoven Spring Sonata, which is a transcription that I made. So we have Beethoven, and then John's piece comes right after that. I played Valerie Coleman's Danza della Mariposa, which everybody in the world is playing right now because it's such an amazing piece.
It is.
And a short piece called Notturno by Kendall Durrell Briggs, who was a friend of my pianist. And I don't know his music at all, but this piece is really, really beautiful. Then we did the Melanie Bonis Sonata, a late romantic French composer, which is also a gorgeous piece, and then closed the program with the Caplet, Reverie and Petite Waltz. So it's just one of those lesser played French conservatory pieces, which is gorgeous and fun. So we had a good time. It's just an hour program, so we just enjoyed what we were doing.
You say just an hour program, but when we've not been playing, an hour feels like a lot, doesn't it?
It does. It's 6 pieces, it's a lot of preparation, a lot of thought process, a lot of stylistic differences that you're trying to bring in. So
yeah, that's a great program that you put together. Definitely. And when you play it, I'm sure it's beautiful. I'd love to hear it.
Well, it's I think it's Central Time, 5 o'clock tomorrow through the Texas Flute Society. And then after that's over, I had a videographer do it. So I've got the whole program, and I've got it in pieces so that I post different things after the festival's over. So
fun.
Yeah, thanks.
So for those of you kind of joining us here in the middle, thanks for those who have already written some comments, joining us from India, Philadelphia. Was it Philadelphia I saw? Yes. And Michigan. There was somebody from Michigan drinking tea just like you. So thank you for joining us. This is episode 13. So we had a few technical issues before, and you froze for only a second, but here we are. We're still making it. So what do you have coming up this summer? Any fun plans? Are you traveling the world?
I'm not ready to get on an airplane yet, but actually I have family coming to visit me this weekend. So that's going to kind of kick off the summer season. I will be doing some events at the Interlaken event again this summer, the adult camp, but I'll be doing all that virtually. And I'm working on a couple of projects for the NFA convention, which is going to be virtual again this year. I'm playing with a group of friends in a flute choir. We're going to be doing a premiere by Robert Maggio. And I'm organizing the Remembrance and Healing concert, which I've been doing for almost 25 years now for the convention. It's going to be a very emotional one this year too, because we have lost some very important and dear friends in our flute community. Mm-hmm. And I'm working on a committee that at this point is kind of secret, so I won't say anything more about it, but plans for next year's convention, the 50th anniversary of the NFA. So we've got some plans already well underway for that convention.
I was hoping maybe you'd give us some sneak peeks into the 50th convention. We're coming back in person finally, and it's all secretive, isn't it?
Well, to a degree, just there's certain aspects of it that are still being formulated, but Aaron Goldman, who's the program chair for that, has actually been working on plans for over 2 years now. And that's not unusual with a program chair. It's you usually work on the convention for a couple of years in advance. But he's been working even longer than that because it is a big deal. 50th anniversary. You know, there are going to be a lot of celebrating going on. So,
and you're a past program chair.
Yes, I was program chair in 2000 when it was in Columbus, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
That was an amazing experience. It was exciting. It was overwhelming. It was exhausting. It was thrilling. You know, it had, it's like an opera, you know, it had everything.
When there's flutists involved, there's always drama like an opera. So,
oh, yes.
And grandiosity. That's fantastic. Actually, we had Aaron Goldman on Flutespresso. He's the last person I talked to. So
good.
I get all the cool people.
Well, and he wasn't going to tell you anything either, probably. So.
He really didn't. No, he really didn't. But we're excited to see what you're doing for this year's convention virtually as well. You know, you did something last time and this time, but I think the formats will feel quite different this year.
Yeah, they're going to be doing it in a shorter period of time. Last year, it came on us so quickly, you know, they wound up spreading events through the whole summer, which I thought was also good. But this will be more focused, and there won't be quite as many events as there would normally be in a regular convention. But you know, they're just trying to focus in on the important competitions and the important guest artists and all those kinds of things that were already lined up to be. And a huge shout out to Jennifer Grimm for dealing with last year and this year of being really pouring herself into making this happen and to be important, as the convention always is. I mean, and she has managed to do that just brilliantly. She gets all my respect. My job was not anywhere near as difficult as what she's doing. So
I'll give away a secret that I get to chat with Jennifer Grimm in July.
Oh,
Espresso. Yeah.
What?
So you received the NFA Service Award, Distinguished Service Award, and here you are. You're still in service to NFA. It's an award, but also keep serving. Correct?
I was really very surprised when I got that award because I didn't go into the NFA thinking about, oh, I'm going to win the Distinguished Service Award. You just do it because you want to be involved and you want to really, do good for other people as well. I mean, as a university professor, it was important for me too, for my resume, you know, when I'm going up for tenure and promotions and those kinds of things. But ultimately, it's just being with such amazing people and working with all these people to make something really special happen. And it's been a wonderful part of my life as a musician. So I'm grateful for having the opportunity to do it.
We're grateful for what you do.
Well, thank you.
And I'll say, since we already mentioned Jonathan Cohen, and here he is saying hello. So we'll say hello, Jonathan Cohen.
I have a recording for you of your new piece. I'll be sending it to you. So.
Fantastic. So post-pandemic, and this can be flute related or not, what are you most looking forward to as we go back to what we hope will be normal? What do you want to do the most?
I want to be able to be with my family and my friends and and to be able to hug people again. We're just starting to do that with small groups of people who are all vaccinated. And it's amazing how much I miss just hugging. It's important to me. I'm a big hugger, so
You're a hugger.
and I'm really looking forward to traveling again. There are some places I had some trips planned that had to be canceled. One to Japan that I hope to establish, and just a lot of places that I want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I do find it is sometimes a bit awkward when you go to see someone and you're like, "Can I hug you? I'm vaccinated. Are you vaccinated?"
You have to always establish that. I always show up in a mask and say, "Okay, what are the ground rules?"
Rules are important. Oh, let's see here. So, musically, then, as we get into the fall here, do you think you'll have your students back in their studios and back to normal activities?
We're hoping. We're hoping so. I mean, like everything we've gone through this year, you make a plan and then you have to be as flexible as possible. And we've learned so much teaching online this year that I think it'll, if we have to do a hybrid version of our teaching, I think it will still be effective, and I think it will still work. I'm starting to plan concerts also for next year, and I have my own chamber music group here based in Akron, and we do 3 concerts a year, which of course we had to cancel the last 4 from 2020, in the spring, and then all of this last year. So we're trying to get that all reestablished. I am doing a chamber music concert this summer through the Musicians Union in Cleveland, and they're coordinating a concert of all women's music, and they asked me to play a couple of pieces on that. So it's good to start feeling your oats again, getting back into the swing of meeting people and rehearsing and performing together again. So, but since I retired from full-time teaching, I like my garden. I like to spend time working in my garden and working on my house and just enjoying my space. Not try to be too overwhelmed with work. So
perhaps we've all learned to slow down a little bit.
Well, we'll see, won't we? So
I do notice one great thing that is coming from the pandemic is there's a lot more focus on chamber music.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And you were already in that world, establishing the Chamber Music Society there. And
yeah, I was fortunate in my undergraduate and in my graduate programs that I got to do a lot of chamber music. And when I started working at the University of Akron, part of the job was to play in the faculty wind quintet. And that was one of the greatest joys of my whole career, is to spend 35 years, working in this professional woodwind quintet. And we made, we traveled around the world. We made CDs. We did all kinds of, the things that you want to do as a musician, and made great friendships, that will last forever. So, yeah, I love orchestral playing, but chamber music, there's just that something really special for me about it. Yeah.
mm-hmm. Do you have any suggestions of pieces or works we should check out?
Well, a concert. Let's see if I can remember names of pieces. I worked on a recent recital with harp and viola. So obviously we had to do the Debussy.
Mm.
But we also did a couple of other pieces. And now that you've asked me, my mind is going blank.
That's okay. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Well, uh, they'll probably come back to me in 10 minutes. So, but sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'm a person that I know everybody's name until you ask me, and then I know nobody's name.
That's the way it goes, you know. And once a recital is done, it's kind of like that goes into a file in the back of your head that, you know, it's like I'll dig around in it and try to bring it out.
So I do always love to hear how people, famous flutists such as yourself got to where you are now. And I see you started as a kid on piano, learning from your mom. Is that correct?
Yeah. We that was one rule in the house, is that when you were 8 years old, you had to study piano for 1 year. And I managed to make it through 2 years, and then started flute when I was 10, you know. And since I was playing an instrument, Mom did not insist that I keep practicing piano, which I wish that she had. I really wish I'd kept up all my piano studies, because I'm a beyond mediocre pianist and wish I could play better. But then I started, band program when I was 10. Didn't have private lessons until I was 17. And never really thought of going into music as a career. But once I started studying privately, I got so much better, so much faster. And it really, the excitement of doing it really caught me. It really grabbed me. And then I just really started focusing on that and did my undergraduate degree in music education, but a focus in performance. I was fortunate enough to play in a professional orchestra while I was in college. Went to the University of Tulsa, and I played in the Tulsa Philharmonic for 3 years while I was in college. And then studied privately, didn't go to graduate school for 2 years, studied privately with Maurice Sharp in Cleveland, and then did my master's with Mr. Kujala at Northwestern, and then did some more freelancing, and then I got my job at the University of Akron. Included the quintet, but also we had a faculty student chamber orchestra that went on for about 3 years after I arrived, and also the Akron Symphony too, which I played in for 25 years and played concertos with as well. So,
and it all started with your mom. It's fantastic. It's almost Mother's Day, so
that's right. We always had music in the family. Mom played piano and cello and sang beautifully, and my dad played a little bit of piano, and we were always singing and, being in the church choir and, in music programs at school. So yeah, it was always a part of our life.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Moms just want to hear when you said, she was right, I should have kept studying. As a mom, we'd like to hear that. I know I was right. So as an altist artist, do you want to tell us about your flute?
Yes, I play on an Altus 1700 series. It's one of the seamed tube flutes. It's in sterling and has, offset G, C sharp trill, and all those things as well. And this flute is kind of still new for me. I've been playing on this flute for 2 years now. My flute before that was an 1800 series, which was a little bit lighter weight. This one is sturdy. So it reminds me of my first professional flute, which which I got while I was in college, which was a commercial model Powell flute, and it was a big flute, and it's just like, oh, now I'm home again, now I'm back to what really feels comfortable and familiar to me. And I've been, through a lot of flutes. I probably own more flutes than I need. Of course, I think that happens to a lot of us sometimes.
I don't think you're alone in that.
But it's always been a pleasure to work with the people at Altus. They've always been so supportive and encouraging, and they're sponsoring my part of my appearance at the Texas Flute Society this weekend as well. So I'm very grateful to them. Thank you, Altus. Oh, there they are, 2 thumbs. Go backwards to make that happen. So, yeah, it's we search all our lives to find those instruments that feel like our voice, and that's where I feel I'm at right now. I feel like I can just be myself and just sing through the instrument, and play the way I want to play. So.
And you play beautifully every time you do.
Thank you.
Or masterfully, maybe I should say.
I still enjoy it. I've had friends who've, when they've retired from teaching, have kind of just let the playing go, and that's fine, for them. But I'm not there yet. I still enjoy practicing and performing, and so I will keep it up until I start embarrassing myself, and then I will quit.
I don't see that happening, but we will encourage you to keep playing because we'll keep listening.
Thank you.
So as we conclude, I always know we're getting close to the end. As my coffee cup, I can see the bottom.
Uh-oh.
And then I know we must be done. You have to catch up a little bit. So we do end every Flutespresso with our Flutespresso Express round. We save it for the end once you're nice and caffeinated and you're ready for your quick answers here. Okay. So I'm realizing now I may have forgotten to warn you about this. So this is a surprise, isn't it?
No, you gave me a tiny warning. So
okay, I feel a little bit better right now.
I have my seatbelt on, so I'm ready to go.
Good, very good, very good. So it's mostly this or that questions. I have to say now by episode 13, we're starting to add it a little bit more. Maybe not all this or that, maybe a couple extra additional little, let you name 1 or 2 things. We like to break the rules. So here we go. The first one's a nice and easy one, I think. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
I knew that. And what is your favorite tea of all?
Right now is the Tazo brand with their flavor, the decaffeinated teas. I'm hypersensitive to caffeine, which is why I never became a real coffee person. So I love the taste of coffee. So coffee ice cream, coffee icing, coffee candy, all those things, just not coffee itself.
I was thinking, oh boy, we don't have much in common there, but you said coffee ice cream, so we're back.
Okay, good.
Piccolo or alto flute?
Altoflute. I love my Piccolo that I have, and I bought it specifically because it would allow me to play as beautifully as possible without having to kill myself. So, but the alto flute, I've always loved the lower sounds. And so, I have a beautiful Altus alto flute too that I love. I have the version with both head joints, the curved and the straight head joint. So depending on if I one of my students needs to borrow it or something like that, that they can use the curved head joint. But I love playing alto flute, and I do it frequently. So
Back when we used to loan instruments to people.
yes, that's been a long time for that.
We'll come back. Dogs or cats?
Cats. I love dogs, but I want to live with cats. So, and unfortunately, I don't have any right now. But don't everybody call me and say they've got a cat for me to adopt, because I get that every week from my friends locally. So
You may have already opened that door. I apologize.
yeah, well, I stepped into it that time.
I think I know the answer here, but playing with the full orchestra or playing chamber music?
Well, it's just different, I'll have to say chamber music, because it's more manageable. You can make it happen more easily than full orchestral things. But I've had the great opportunity of subbing with the Cleveland Orchestra during the last 10 years. And there is really nothing quite like that experience of sitting in the middle of an amazing orchestra in a beautiful hall. Severance Hall is a great, gorgeous acoustic too. So that's a little bit more balanced. I still can't do that in this camera. So.
You're doing a great job. Summer or winter?
Summer. Yeah, I like winter, but I prefer summer.
How about for your flute, silver or gold?
I'm going to say silver. I played on gold, and it sounds beautiful, and other people sound beautiful on it, but I'm just happier with silver. It just seems more my nature. So
Vanilla or chocolate?
Oh, well, I guess I already said that, didn't I? Chocolate. So, right.
See how I go all over the place here. Ibert or Nielsen?
Well, that's hard. I've played both of them with orchestra. I just have to say I'm more deeply attached to the Nielsen. Yeah.
That was a very diplomatic answer.
Well, it was the recording, the Julius Baker recording came out when I was still a young person. And that was the first recording in the United States. And that recording just, blew me away. So, and I actually have a student working on that concerto right now for next year. So it's been great to get reattached to it.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go out in left field here. And do you have a favorite movie you want to share with us?
I would say, without a question, my favorite movie of all time is West Side Story. And I'm really excited to see this new version of it. But that music, I can't listen. I hear one measure of that music and I'm lost. I'm just gone. It's just... so I would say that's my favorite movie.
Fantastic choice. One more. Bach or Brahms?
Boy, these are hard.
I know. I mean,
I'll have to say personally, Bach. I love Brahms, but I'm passionate about Bach. So
we won't tell Brahms. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll block him from checking in on that's Brock.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. It was great to just get to talk with you and get to know you a little bit better as we've had you come visit our class at BW last spring and give a presentation for them. So thank you for inviting me to be here.
It was an absolute pleasure, and I hope that we'll see you again soon.
Oh, you can't get rid of me. Sorry.
I don't plan to. Fantastic. Thank you all for joining us today as well. Jonathan wrote again. Thank you, Jonathan, and everyone else from France even joining us. Fantastic to have you here with us. Goodbye.